Hey guys, it's Leo Stargazer. I'm here today with our weekly astrological reading. This is for the week of August 13th through August 19th. And let's go through what the week has in store for us. So this week's main focus is the new moon. We'll have a few other transits coming up, but this week we are focused on the moon. There's a new moon in Leo on Wednesday the 16th. So we're really focused on the lunar cycle this week. We're focused on setting new intentions. Besides this new moon and following the moon on its cycle, this week we will have one other really big transit. And that is that the sun in Leo will be conjunct Venus retrograde, also in Leo. So a Venus Cazimi in Leo. So lots of Leo themes. Leo is a big focus this week. So lunar themes and Leo themes. But then this Venus Cazimi is starting out the week saying a lot of things. Shining a big bright light on specific things. And I think leading this week with a specific kind of focus, which I love. So let's get into all of that. So we start out the week with this Venus Cazimi in Leo, and we've been learning a lot of lessons about that. In the Venus Cazimi is on Sunday, and so that daily we'll have a lot more information about that specific event. But just in general, it's really shining a light, probably the brightest light that will ever be shined on it, on this, on what we've been learning from Venus's retrograde. The sun is imbuing that retrograde with a sense of warmth, a sense of glow that's really going to help us lock into what we've learned so far and potentially what's in the future for us when it comes to this Venus retrograde. So look forward to that. That's going to really imbue the whole week with the sense of warmth and vibrancy and remind us that we're still in a review process, but that there's a lot of beauty there. Because then we have the new moon, like I said, on Wednesday. And that new moon is also in Leo. And a new moon is the moon conjunct the sun. So another conjunction with the sun. And that new moon will be very close to a square to Uranus. So there's all this idea about rebelliousness and our relationship with that, and kind of really understanding that to make sure we don't go overboard. But kind of imbuing our new moon intentions that we're going to set this week with rebelliousness in the back of our minds. So that's kind of really, those are really the main things happening this week. So this Venus Cazimi and then this new moon, both of those things happening in Leo. So we really want to tap into our sense of pride, our sense of strength, leadership, also warmth and joy. And also not losing sight of the review. We're in a process of review. We've been there. We will continue to be there for a little bit longer. So definitely don't lose sight of that. But really, let's learn some stuff about our Venus retrograde moments, and then let's tap into our new moon intentions this week. The best way to do that is to think about strength. So this week's tarot reading is the major arcana reading of strength. The major arcana reading for strength. So let's get right to it, because I want to know how pride, strength, and warmth are going to best help me with my new moon intention in particular. Let's go. Okay, so I'm going to shuffle the deck like I usually do. I'm definitely meditating on the strength card as I do that. We'll do a separate new moon reading later this week. But for now, I want us to focus on our weekly intention specifically. And for me, the intention I'm setting for this tarot reading is rebellious vibrancy. So I'm contemplating strength. but I'm also thinking about rebellious vibrancy as I'm shuffling. Let's do that together while I finish. Start to think about your rebellious side, but how that side lights you up from within. Think about your own personal vibrancy and how that's attached to your unique self, and your sense of rebelliousness. Let's do that for a minute. Take some deep breaths while I finish shuffling. So I've brought the deck from chaos into unity. I've thought a lot about strength. I've thought about pride, thought about rebellious vibrancy, and I'm ready to draw my first card in this strength spread. The card that I draw first is in the position of self-perception. And that card is the Seven of Wands. Okay, so getting the Seven of Wands in the self-perception position definitely shows me that we are enjoying this work. We are enjoying this idea of our review. We're enjoying this idea of the striving that we've been doing to be vibrant. We may also be enjoying the hint of rebelliousness that's there. But with the Seven of Wands and self-perception, what I'm really seeing is that we are involved in this and that it's giving us a sense of joy. There's definitely the hints with this that there can be burnout. There's definitely the hint here that the journey may, that we may be so involved in the journey that we're potentially losing a little bit of sight of an end result. But for now, we'll get to the end result later. For now, we are clearly perceiving ourselves as enjoying the journey. And I think we are enjoying it. So let's stick with that as we move on. In the second position of challenge, I draw the King of Cups. The King of Cups in the challenge position, in a spread about strength, in a spread about rebellious vibrancy, is showing me it may be a challenge for us to use what we've been learning, to use our enjoyment of the journey. It may be tough for us, or a challenge for us, to use that authoritatively. We may be so excited about what we're learning, or so engaged in the process of that we miss, like I was kind of hinting at, we miss maybe the end result. We also are missing how even that enjoyment, even the journey itself, we can find authority in that, but we might be missing our ability to do that here. I think the King of Cups here, though, is saying that it is important for us at this stage of the journey. In fact, it's probably really, really important to our sense of strength, our ability to be vibrantly rebellious, but also authoritative, that if we aren't injecting the sense of authority into that, if we aren't imbuing the intention to be powerful, to be empowered, or in a powerful position, if we aren't imbuing that with that sense that authority is important, imbuing the journey with the sense that authority is important, we are probably missing a key element. So it's going to be a challenge, this card is at least hinting at that it's going to be potentially a challenge for us to find out how strength and rebellious vibrancy tie into our power, our empowerment, specifically in an authoritative way. Kind of, I'm thinking about it, the imagery of the king on the throne. We, in the Seven of Wands, we're enjoying it. We're enjoying this journey. But in order to be empowered and in a position of power and authority, which we really just want to strive for, that's strength. Remember, strength is taming passion while still embracing it. The king here is saying that there might be a challenge in using that passion authoritatively. But let's keep going and we'll see what the rest say. I don't want to focus too much on authority or challenge. Okay, so in the third position of skill, so in the skill position, the card that I draw is Temperance. Okay, Temperance. Here it is. How can we embrace our authority? How can we start doing that while still enjoying the journey? Through temperance. Through more balance. Through being adaptable as well. I think there's a sense that we don't want to focus too much on balancing out our passion in order to be authoritative. We don't want to lose sight of some of the maybe more radical, again, rebellious vibrancy, more radical stuff we've been learning, especially from like Venus in retrograde with that Venus cazimi today. I mean, we cannot lose sight of love, pleasure, and all of those things we've been learning. But there's a sense that all that passionate learning, all of that kind of self-centered focus, that there needs to be this sense of adaptability, a sense of a balanced approach to both sides of this. Not just leaning into our authority to where we're just kind of rigid, not and unable to kind of tap into that passion, not just so involved in passion that we let our lion energy take over everything, and then we're just kind of a little too wild to be authoritative. Temperance is here to say, bring it all in, balance it all out. You need both in unity, both in union. That'll help. But that balance is really important, and it's in skill, so that we have the skill to bring temperance to this. That's what this is saying. We have the skill to balance rebelliousness and authority. We have that skill here, and it's through temperance. That's what she's saying. Let's keep going. In the next position of blessings, the card that I draw is the Three of Wands. So the Three of Wands in blessings is showing me that we are looking towards the future. But while we're doing that, we're also looking towards our goals. We're observing our goals. Remember, we're in a time of observation right now. We're in a time of reviewed focus in particular. And details. Don't forget about details. I'm going to bring that up now because it'll come up a lot later, but not this week. I mean, it is here this week, guys. Don't get me wrong. But the details later. Strength now. And what the Three of Wands here is showing me in blessings is that we are being afforded the opportunity to observe what we were learning, observe what action that's kind of taking, and what direction all of that journey is taking us in, or what direction the products of that journey are moving in. So let's tie this back. This is a very introspective card, so I think that's important. Again, temperance was kind of like, bring it all back in, balance. I think the Three of Wands here is saying it's a blessing to be able to do that. It's a gift to be able to get the perspective that you need to look at what you've done. So you've been loving the journey, you've been on it, you've been thriving. You know you have projects and stuff and people that rely on you. So you're kind of sitting from this position of enjoyment of that, but being able to observe kind of how all of that is affecting your life and what direction it's heading in. The Three is saying, embrace that. Be grateful for that. Be grateful for the ability to have the space to be introspective, but also to get perspective on the directionality of your goals, dreams, and intentions. I think that's really key. Bring it back to gratitude here for a bit. But let's keep going. In the next position of wisdom, the card that I draw is the World reversed. Okay, the World reversed in wisdom. I think it says one thing very, very, very clearly to me. That our wisdom, our intuition, knows that and wants us to know that focusing exclusively on completion, focusing only on wholeness or the full manifestation of something is not the most helpful. It's just not where we are. We're already enjoying the journey, so let's stick with that. We don't have to temper everything out by just being so introspective or just trying to balance everything so much that we miss the journey. We need to stay in the process. We are not at the end of the process yet. In fact, we're at a stage of review right now where we're kind of just getting in our groove of review. We're not at what that review is going to mean for us. This Venus Cazimi definitely is shining a really specifically bright spotlight on it. But the new moon, also in Leo, comes in to say, right, but we're also just beginning new intentions as well. This review process is longer. This review process is the journey. So the World reversed in wisdom is saying, that's cool. Don't focus on completion. Don't focus on the end. Focus on the beginning. Or focus on this beginning phase of this part of the journey. The new moon part of this journey. Maybe it's saying too, go with kind of the lunar cycles. If this is about intuition, then go with the lunar cycles. But don't look to completion. Look to new beginnings and a continuation of the journey. I think that's the wisdom part of this. Okay, let's move on to the next card. Okay, and the next position is potential. And the card that I draw here is Judgment reversed. Judgment reversed in potential. Okay, I think it's clear. We need to focus on the now, not the end. I think here in potential, it's saying that with that, while being on the journey, while enjoying the journey, while understanding how authority plays in, keeping all of that in balance and remembering observation and focus, with all of that, the potential here lies in accepting what we find. Accepting change as it happens. Accepting obstacles on the journey. And accepting what we've learned, how we've grown, accepting that growth. Accepting new phases of transformation. But above all, Judgment reversed here in potential is saying that we can tie all of that together if we accept what we find on the journey. If we accept where we do end up to. So we don't want to think about where we're going to end up. We have to focus now on accepting what that's going to be regardless. That'll help us not focus on it. Accept the journey as it's happening. I think that's what this card here is telling us. And I think that's a great place to be. If we want to be rebellious, we're going to create some obstacles. Rebellion always does. That's the point of it, usually, is to shake things up. If we're going to be rebelliously vibrant, but also strong and empowered and powerful, and use all of that to help us and others, if we're going to shine as brightly as we can, we have to accept what happens. Deal with that as it happens. Bring in balance. Bring in a lot of passion, though. Above all, bring in passion to this. Don't focus on the end, but already from this point, be accepting of what you learn. Accept yourself. Accept what you are, what you're learning that you are, what this whole journey is. Accept, enjoy, and accept what you're learning about yourself. That's the best way to be strong. It's the best way to be empowered. It's also the best way to be rebellious and vibrant. Self-acceptance. I think that's the message of Leo here. I think that's the message of this Kazemi. I think that's the message of this new moon. And I think it's the message of this reading. Self-acceptance will help you be vibrant. Accept and own what you're learning, but keep learning and enjoy it. That's how I'm going to look at this week. I hope you do too. I hope you have a wonderful week. I hope this new moon lets you set the most gorgeous intentions, especially because it's lit up by this Venus Kazemi earlier in the week. Enjoy it, guys. Bask in it. You're awesome. I'll see you next time.